welcome to the guest speakers. That is first Eveline van Wanrooij. She is going to give a presentation. She's in the guiding business here in Rotterdam in particular. So she's going to talk a little bit about her experiences in practice. So Eveline, take it away.
Yes, well, thank you very much. I'd like to give you what I usually say when I start my tour. I'd like to give you a very warm welcome to what we consider the most beautiful city in the Netherlands. But, well, this is your city already. Again, good morning. My name is Eveline van Wanrooij, and usually when I'm this nervous, this only happened to me once. It was the first time I was giving a tour in English, and was also the first time that I had a pretty important audience, just like today. It was 40 Scandinavian journalists, and we were in historical Den Haag. I needed to tell them something about our church, and then we usually have golden roosters on top of church, except for this one, this church has a golden herring. And when I started to do this, it was the first time in English, first time an important audience. It was also the first time that they really didn't feel like getting a tour. They sat inside and they said, you know what, you little girl, you tell your story inside. So there I was like an involuntarily stand-up comedian as I feel today. This needed to go wrong, and my God, it did. I incidentally chose a French word in that sentence. So there I was, my first start of my English tour was, wow, in Holland we usually have golden cocks on top of churches. This is the story that I usually tell when I need the attention of people before I get into some serious historical lessons there. I won't be giving you any historical lessons today, or a couple of short ones, but there's someone I would like to talk to you about. On the January 24th, I had a very important group of, well, all my guests are important of course, but I had a group of Belgian guests in Rotterdam. They wanted to have a morning with some tour guides and a lunch. Usually we don't have lunch together with our guests, but they really insisted, and looking back on it, thank God they did. It was a group of 60 people, so I hired 2 guests. And one of my guests was Johan van Wanrooij, someone we know very well, or you know him very well. He was a professor on this university, and it was a very special day. It was very sunny, it was a bit chilly, Holland's winter times. And well, he started to do his tour. He was always very, very happy. My guests described him as the guide who was always smiling. And, well, the reason why I'm telling you this is, as you can see, he was smiling all the time, even though there wasn't anybody around. During the afternoon, we had lunch together. We had lunch in Bazaar. You might know that in the Witte de Wit Street. Yeah. Important street for your students anyway. So, but we had lunch in Bazaar, and it lasted and lasted and lasted and lasted. Usually within like 1 hour you had 3 courses and you're outside. But that day was different. It took us 2.5 hours before we were finished. And Johan was talking and talking and talking. He was so intelligent. He was such a genius. But I was really, well, I looked up to him a little bit. I took this picture. Here you can see Johan having a glass of wine, just enjoying himself, smiling again. This picture was just before we had lunch. I said goodbye to him at 2:45. And apparently he finished his tour at 3:45. Well, he went home, and well, I forgot about this tour. I had many tours that weekend, and on Monday afternoon I got a phone call from his brother saying, I don't know what happened, but your number is on a paper, and I'm standing next to my dead brother right now. I don't know what to do. And well, he told me that his brother died on Friday. I said, no, he didn't die on Friday. I had lunch with him on Saturday, so. He went home. The last thing he did while looking in his phone was at 4:45. So he died 1 hour after he gave a tour to my group of people. So in order, well, I met Frank at the funeral of somebody we really did not want to be at his funeral. Well, Frank asked me to talk about him. I don't know, does any one of you have had a lesson from him? Yeah. Yes, you know him? And what did you think about him?
He was my first English coach. And yeah, as you
study was really intensive, really inspiring. Yes, with him, so much knowledge died. It's weird, it's amazing. But it was a lesson we could learn from, hold on a second. A lesson we could learn from him and his sudden death that it's a lesson that I'm always trying to tell everybody. Life could end just like this, and this is what I want to talk to you about today. Apparently, this was also the picture I took. I don't know why I took this picture. I just want to take this picture to show the food to other guests. Maybe I don't know why exactly, but this apparently was the last picture ever to be taken of Johan, and that really still gives me the chills every time. It still haunts me a little bit, thinking about, well, what have happened if I didn't hire him for that tour, but we'll never know. The reason he died was a hemorrhage for the people, and hersenbloeding for the people who speak Dutch. What I've been trying to talk to you about today is that point in time where you think, well, what am I going to do? The point in time where you students all are, what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, and a hopefully little bit inspiring story if you talking about Johan. The lesson I've been learning like that I got from being in Thailand just after the tsunami. Remember 2004, we call it second Christmas Day, English call it Boxing Day. And on Boxing Day, well, we all heard about the tsunami, and 250,000 people lost their lives. It was such a terrible time, and I saw the debris, and I really wanted to do something about that. We've been having Christmas, we're having presents, so much food, everything was just too much of it. The 23rd of December, I quit my job. The 24th, I quit my relationship after 5 years with somebody I was living together with. And on the 26th, I saw the tsunami happen. I thought, this is just one of those things. I need to go there. I need to clear debris. I really need to. So I did. And but something strange happened just prior to that. I was looking on the internet, looking at hotels where I could stay, and I was in combination of cleaning that hotel, and just to get that combination, hotel will be cleaned, and I have done my part in this terrible disaster. So I've been calling around hotels and everything. Also airlines, I wanted to have the cheapest flight to Thailand because I want all my money. I had about 2,000 euro savings, and I got them all, and I really wanted to have a cheap price like Dutch people like. I want to have a cheap flight towards Asia, and I got the biggest discount from Malaysia Airlines. They said, you can have the biggest discount, but you will only be able to go to Thailand on the 7th of February. The 4th of February, 3 days before that, I got this message from my doctor saying, oh, you're about to get 30, you need to get, how to say it, you need to be tested on cancer, like every girl does when she turns 30. Of course, that's long away for you girls, probably. But, so I got this message. I was going to my doctor saying, yeah, I'm going to do something probably pretty stupid. Shall we do this test also right now? Sure, we'll do that. So I went to Thailand and I started to help out. I don't know if anybody of you has been to Koh Phi Phi. This was a big party island. Yeah, were you before the tsunami? After the tsunami, yeah. Well, I saw it just after the tsunami. Apparently it looked completely different before that, as you can see. And now it's back to big tourism, big hotels, parties again, right? This is how Koh Phi Phi looked like when I was there. You can see in this clock, the time the second wave hit was 5 to 11. And this is when the clock stopped. So we started to clear debris there. And I can really advise you, if you ever have the time, you can help out Nepal right now, who really needs some debris clearing students. So if you ever have the time, go there. I did this here, and after 1 month of working in hot sunlight, it was amazing. The work we did was severe. I called home after 1 month, and I said, oh, that's right, you need to call your doctor. Why do I need to come? Oh, wait a minute. So I needed to go to the mainland, because on that island there was no internet. There was no telephone, there wasn't even electricity anymore. I called home and I heard, well, you're about this close of having cancer, so you should get an operation right now. So I did that in Thailand. And I started traveling around because I didn't feel like going home. I was not allowed to be working in the disaster area. So I just started traveling, and after 6 weeks, I was completely healed, which was quite bizarre because I just got used to the fact that I almost had cancer, and by the time, well, I was already healed. I got home, and I started to think, well, I saw, in Thailand, of course, I saw people going to the beach in the morning, and then at 11 o'clock they lost their complete family. And almost, if I didn't take Malaysia Airlines, I would never have found out I was this close to having cancer. So I probably would not be alive if I'd taken another airline. It's things like that that really made me think. So I made myself a bucket list. But it was 2005, and I used to call it a to-do in this life list, but bucket list is a big thing right now. A couple of things I did, and well, it went very well, and after a couple of weeks, oh yeah, it was going very fast. The most important thing was Salvador, give birth to the son. Oh. Yeah, sorry about that. I got carried away while doing this presentation. So, I had so many other things on my bucket list because it went so fast that I was thinking about, well, let's get some more things on my bucket list. One of them is holding a tarantula. Want to see the Big Five in America. Lots has to do with wine, I see. Have tasted real Mendoza wine in Argentina, go to South Africa, have some wine tour, blah, 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 blah. Well, lots of things that I need to do because you need to, of course, always keep track on this because before you know it, you're done and it feels like, oh, life's done now. So you keep filling it up. And that bucket list really gave me the idea, which is just seize the day. I got rid of all those people in life that really make me cranky when you see them. That sounds familiar? It was just like, you all have people around you, and when you've seen them, you just don't feel happy about it. The fact that you saw them and things like that. Jobs that you do and you really don't like, or you don't like them. Those things, I thought, well, life could be over like this. Life is so short, just get rid of all of that. So I called myself a day Caesar, and I thought, well, the first thing I did, which was on my list, especially the big one, was to publish a book. So I did. I published a book about going to the tsunami area. I wrote a blog, so it was pretty easy just to publish those texts. And then I wrote another book. And I was thinking, how many books did I write? I kind of lost count. It was about 8 or 9 now, but well, they were not that successful. So but yeah, if you ask me, so I said, well, let's quit my job and never go back to sitting in an office again. Never, ever, ever. I will become famous with writing a book. Did that happen? Hell no. Would I do it again? Oh yes, definitely, yes, because I'm now standing in front of you with 2 books with my name on it, even though they were complete disasters in themselves. But the fact that I thought, well, never ever in an office again, that is something that made me very happy. And this is a couple of years later, this is what I found my company. But just before that, the publisher of this book, this is self-published, by the way, because there was no publisher in Holland who wanted to have money. I self-published this one, cost me like an enormous amount of money. But the publisher, they heard about a job for an American company who can help self-publish books. The job was, the company was in North Carolina, and the job had to be done in London. So I thought, well, hey, let's move to London, why not? So I worked on Trafalgar Square, just city center. Is there anybody from London here, by the way? No? Oh, really? So I lived on King's Cross, which is awesome area, I think. It's with the rough edges, just like Rotterdam. I love it. And working on Trafalgar Square, so I was downtown London. It was pretty cool, but it was also pretty busy because, wow, that's a busy kind of and there's no way going outside in your training trousers just to go to the mall or anything, because when you step outside there are only well-dressed tourists there, so there's no way in the world you can wear your pajamas. But we had a very good time, and I had to fly to North Carolina a lot and living in London and then take a holiday to Holland. It was weird and I loved it, but after 10 months I realized, well, cheddar, it just is not Goudse. The Thames is just not Maas. And even Arsenal, which was my London team, well, it's just not Sparta, as you can imagine. And oh my God, Sparta is so not Arsenal, by the way, but that's a whole different story. So after 10 months in living in city center of London, I returned to Holland, and that's when I founded this company again. I was a city guide in the year 98. I was doing leisure studies, and I was doing my internship in a beer brewery. Yeah, can you imagine? You're university students, but if you do 1 degree lower than that, you can do your internship in a beer brewery. It was lots of fun. But I was working there, and together with my stagebegeleider.
Internship coach.
Internship coach, yeah, that's easy. Together with my internship coach, we founded a company just like this. It was called Rotterdam Routes. And Rotterdam Routes was a company where we were giving tours and doing day trips for people towards Rotterdam. It was such an amazing success. Can you remember? I was just 23, I was just an intern. About half a year later, we started to meet employees. And after 1 year, I was having 55 people in my company, which was not, well, it was a very big success, but me being a leader of a company with so many employees, well, let's say that's not my best side at all, because I just wanted to do the tours, you know, but hey, oh yes, Carl, I just went back and had a job working in a bar and doing what I did best, which was studying. But nowadays I have my own company. I'm grown up now. I'm a mother, and I'm more serious. And again, the day I founded this, it became a big success. I heard from everybody that they really wanted, I just said, not to work together anymore with my ex-business partner Mark. They said, if you're starting a company again, we can get rid of him finally. So what happened is it got to a big success. So Rotterdam always fascinated me. This is the things that I can talk about. I don't know if you knew this, but Rotterdam 1932, Rotterdam 1946. And the fact that we rebuilt this city, rolled up sleeves, great sense of humor, and well, without holding a grudge towards the people who've done that, I think it's pretty amazing. And this is a city that I would love to promote. And so I did. And I don't have to sit on an office. I can just go and walk through town all day, blah, 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 whatever. There's people actually paying for that, which is amazing. And again, I'm very proud of Rotterdam. There's a couple of things that in my vision, which happened. Rotterdam it's a difficult city. It's not like Amsterdam where you have Central Station and all the canals around it. Rotterdam is really a city that you need to be told about. Otherwise you wouldn't like it. You come here and you see the Koopgrote Euromast and the Speedo and that's it. But if you have a tour, somebody you know here, maybe a friend, and will tell you a little bit more about Rotterdam. It's a city that you can love very much. How is it for you guys? Is Rotterdam really your cool city that you really like? It's a city that you love completely or you really hate. Is there people who really hate it? You can be honest. That is pretty cool. So if you ever find very big, found international companies, this will be the city that you will probably start, right? Sure. Great. These are the tours that I've been, please don't start a company in city tours then, please. These are the tours that I usually give during the week. I had a very busy weekend, so that's why my voice sounds a little bit like eucalypta. But we have the normal city walk where I can talk about Rotterdam a little bit. But preferably, I'd like to also talk about all the dirty nicknames we come up with. And if you live in a city like this, I guess there's only one way to get rid of this, which is sense of humor. Before this, nowadays we call ourselves Manhattan on the Maas. At the time we called us Steenbergen aan de Maas, the mounds of brick on the Maas. It's a morbid way of having a sense of humor that made us roll up our sleeves and just go. And that sense of humor I like to give during a City Walk Light, Toppie op tour. Not too serious, not too many not too many architect names, because in the year time you only know if you had fun here, and you would know any years or bricks or whatever. There's a couple of other city walks which are pretty normal, which is Delfthaven and Veerhaven. I can't translate it. I must admit, I wanted to give you my website, but it's all in Dutch. Sorry about that. I haven't got to the point to be internationalized. Kunst and culture, this is when I talk about art, but Keul means, well, how would you translate Keul? Nonsense. Art and nonsense tour. The Crestino 20 tour, that's a tour for the people of Amsterdam. Because if there's something that I really love, it's the people from Amsterdam who just do not think that I'm going to like this. I love them, because they always leave with big round eyes saying, oh, I really didn't like it today. And they always whisper, this is what the rest can hear, and they always whisper in my ear, oh, it's amazing, you did such a great job on Rotterdam. So the Crestino 20 tour is especially for the people who are from Amsterdam. It's guaranteed Feyenoord free, so there won't be any talks about the big rival called Feyenoord in the sound. Then it's fun because there's an Amsterdam Arms in the middle of Rotterdam. And this is the moment they always think like, we are the biggest one, and that's what people of Amsterdam usually like to hear best. I also have a Koto tour, which is a kids tour, which is fun, because we go inside and I have an excuse to ask all the weirdest questions in the world. If I have the kids, I just won't be passing Central Station. We'll go in there and we'll ask somebody who works on trains. We'll ask him everything. It's really lots of fun. We have a tour for the blind as well. It was pretty special the first time for the Dutch people. There's a very famous blind person in Holland called Vincent Bijlo. I don't know if you know him. Vincent Bijlo, he's a great comedian. And I had the honor of giving him the first blind tour. So we started out on Mini World, and Mini World is miniature Rotterdam. And we were allowed to be touching all the buildings. It was pretty special, by the way. Hold on. I was so nervous for you guys. Sorry about that. So the first time when I was giving this tour to the blind, there was also lots of journalists there, and they were all having blindfolds on. And that was you cannot believe what it is to be blind. It was amazing. And the journalists were all working in competitive newspapers. They all had to hold on to each other to walk, which was very fun for me as a guy, because I could see Algemeen Dagblad holding arms with the metro, and it was usually they hate each other, but because my tour, well, they needed each other. Vincent Bijlo, he walked very fast because he's so used to it, and he started to feel the Euromast. And he said, well, I always thought that the Euromast looked like this. And that was a moment we all held our breaths. Wow, he doesn't know how the Euromast looked like. For us, it's like 1 second and you know. For him, he really needed to feel it. And then he knew, and he never knew how the Euromast looked. So it's a bit weird to say, but it was quite an eye-opener to be hearing him say, oh, so this is how the Euromast looks like. We also felt the cube houses and also the city hall. And later on we went to the cube houses, and I was very surprised to hear his opinion. Because if you're going to the cube houses, the blind people usually try to listen how the sound returns. With him, he just walked there, he touched the walls, and we went inside, and in the top it's usually quite hot. And he was touching the walls, and well, there was his opinion. I said, so? And he said, oh, this is a great place to have a wheat plant. So this is how blind people looked at the cube houses. Was a very special tour, by the way. It lasted for over 8 hours. He just did not want to stop. Me neither, by the way, but that's my job. But there's something else that I'd like to talk to you about, and maybe even this is like an open ending. See whatever you do with this information. Anybody from America in this room? I'm looking at you. Bummer. Because the Pilgrim Fathers, they actually left from Rotterdam. And that's why I also have a tour called American Roots Tour, because the first Americans, let's say the first white Americans, they actually left from our town, Rotterdam. And did anybody know that? No, I know. Yeah. So I wanted to do something with it. Since it was my own company, I decide what I'm doing with my own company. And by the way, that is pretty cool, because I decided, hey, if you work as a nurse in the zorg, if you work in care, animal care or people care, you just get a 20% discount. Just because. And so, because I'm the boss and I decide. And you know what? I have lots of tours for Shell and also ABN AMRO, and for some strange reason I always find some extra cost to put on their bills. But there's no boss giving me the figure. So yes, I also decided, let's do something more, because giving tours is fun, but I need to do something more. I need to extend my American roots, which I don't have, but I think I do. So I found out there were some Pilgrim Fathers who left from this town, and I was just saying that I did my internship in a beer brewery in historic Delfshaven. It is called Pilgrim, and the Pilgrim the building comes from 1580. And it used to be City Hall of Delfshaven. You might have heard that Delfshaven used to be the harbor of the city of Delft. So this was a little harbor in between Delft and Rotterdam. Well, I'll save you all the details, but around 1900 Rotterdam grew around it, so it's now Rotterdam. But the Pilgrim Fathers, they actually left from the city of Delft when they were leaving Holland in 1620. And to be giving you the story on, this is the historical Delfshaven. It's in the western part of town. It's pretty awesome. So let's go back to Delfshaven. Yeah. To talk about those people, the Pilgrim Fathers, they left from England in 1608. They were having a very strict religion, and that strict religion they could not have in England anymore because of their king. They fled to the more tolerant Holland, and in Holland they were pretty happy, started to bully the king from this country. It's amazing, but they made some anti-commercial for the king, who really was not too happy with the Dutch. So thank God, after 12 years they saw their children play with the Dutch children, and they didn't want any mixtures in their religion. Their religion was strict, Puritan. They wanted to have a country where they could live with their culture, their rules, their religion. And they found that country in America, the New World. At that moment of time, there was only Native Americans, of course, in combination with some people who were there as tradesmen, but they were never planning on settling there. These people were the first settlers to be going towards America and live there. They left from Delfshaven. So their last footsteps were on our paves, and I found it so interesting, and I could see something being done with that. It must be amazing for an American person to be walking over the historical pavements of Delfshaven. But every time when I tell this to Americans, they're standing there on their sneakers with their cameras, like, oh, this is great, but what do I take pictures of? And it was always that moment that I thought, we need to get a memorial for these people. So I've been giving some elleboogstootjes to our city council. You should put a memorial there. And that's what they always answer, that's a brilliant idea. Nothing. Well, years passed. And I was about to go to the Pilgrim Fathers. They landed around Boston area. And I was about to go to the Boston area for the second time and just go absolutely crazy in all the museums and all the memorials there. It's something that, as a city guide, that's what you do on a holiday. I wanted to go there for 4 days, and I left on September 7, 2001. 4 days later, I did not go home. I was having breakfast, and my backpack was next to me, was already filled, ready to go to the airport, Boston Logan Airport, when the owner of the bed and breakfast ran in and he said, "What's the news? What's the news?" And that's where we saw the two trade towers already have been hit by the two planes that actually left from Boston Logan Airport, the airport that I was just about to go to. So I knew when I looked at my ticket, which was still on paper in 2001, I looked at my ticket and I looked at the television and I thought, I am so not going home today. So you could call me like an involuntarily Pilgrim Father knower, because in the 6 extra days I spent in America, of course I only went to all the museums there. And that's when I thought we should really get a memorial. A couple of years later, after giving all those elleboogstootjes saying, you should give these people a memorial, we'll bring American people to Rotterdam. Then Paddy always kept on saying, that's a great idea. So after a couple of years ago, I thought, why don't I do it myself? I have a friend who is a bronze artist, and I asked him to make me this. It's like a tile with the footsteps of William Bradford and his wife Dorothy. He was a great leader. He was the leader of the Pilgrim Fathers over 30 years. And he was also the person who said, the Native American people are very important people for us. Well, they saved their lives so badly. But he was the one saying, please be kind to the Native Americans. It was his grandsons that started the genocide that we know about. But these first people who went there, they were great. He was a great leader. So I was happy to hear that he was a nice leader with a good heart. So I could put his footsteps in our pavement without any gewetensbezwaar. Sorry about. And on August 30th, there it is. It's finally there. Oh, you can see it very well. But it is here in the pavement, and also there is a sign with my name on it. Sorry about that. If ever something happens to me, my son has his mother's name in the historic monument here in Delfshaven. So, yes, that was pretty awesome. But why am I telling you this? I heard that you're having to do some assignments in the near future. Well, basically, this is here already. It's possible for American people to literally stand in the footsteps of their ancestors. I can even take a selfie, which is Pilgrim Father selfie. So 2015. This is, by the way, the deputy mayor. This is somebody from the American embassy. And this is Jack Kerklaan, who is the famous radio presenter who was talking the whole thing through. So we're taking a selfie there, and it's there already, but I don't have the time to really do something with it. We are welcoming American people here in Rotterdam with their own memorial, but again, I have no time to give it a continuing action. There could be, just saying, there could be an American roots tour through Holland. As the Pilgrim Fathers, when they came from England, they went to Amsterdam. They didn't like it there. They thought the people were not civilized enough. Then they lived in Leiden for 12 years. And in Leiden there are 7 memorials and a museum in the church. And here in Rotterdam we have the church, a city council where they deregistered from Holland. And there's a memorial where they can literally step in the footsteps. And hey, there's a beer brewery with the name Pilgrim on it, so that's where you can end your day. Which could be a great tour. Just saying. But the most important things that I want to show you actually is seize the day before you end up in a van. Thank you very much.
Rotterdam has been really becoming trendy, maybe over the last 5 years. Well, it's been going on for a longer time, but accelerating, I think, over the last 5 years. But yes, so they have to choose a particular brand and a particular story. Do you think that there are other places that could benefit from this approach? Other cities?
I see Rotterdam as a completely different city than all the other cities, and all the new titles that we've been given and the new records we've been holding, apparently, they are very Rotterdam-minded. And it is a way to bring more tourists to Rotterdam, but it is up to us with nice storytelling to make them feel interested enough to stay in Rotterdam. It took us, well again you saw Rotterdam, how it looked like when it was destroyed. It took us 70 years to completely rebuild it. And now we have been rebuilt. And well, we're ready for all the tourists now. But the good thing that has come from that since we are so new on the tourism market, we are very ambitious. And the thing I always hear from my guests, even this weekend they've been to Rotterdam, a couple of large groups, and they said the people are so friendly in Rotterdam. And that's something we would never have imagined a couple of years ago, but we are so proud. And it's such a, it's saamhorigheidsgevoel.
Cohesive.
Yeah, the cohesiveness of this city is that everybody is so proud of what we have become, that is becoming our unique selling point. Our ambition and our friendliness, apparently. We're quite surprised on that ourselves, but well, not ambitiousness, of course, we're rolled up sleeves. We like to take all big projects, but yeah, I think the whole, the Rotterdam branding is definitely changing very positively, actually.
Yeah, but I think only since 5-10 years?
A couple of years ago, yeah. It took us so long for, well, Central Station was ready, the Rotterdam by Rem Koolhaas was ready, and also the, of course, the Markthal, and now they're done. And you could see this year, actually, by the way, yesterday, it was the birthday of Rotterdam. Yesterday we were 675 years old. I think we should all have a glass of wine to that. So yeah, I think we're looking at a very positive new future. Especially, we need to mention him with our awesome mayor, because he's doing a great job as well. We are this year, our mayor is called Nederlander van het jaar, Dutchman of the Year. And also the city is called European City of the Year 2015. And that's just a couple of things, the titles we have gotten, making us even more proud. But whatever you do, stay proud, never become arrogant, because that's Amsterdam style. We are proud here, okay? Does that answer your question of Erik?
Yes, I think so. But we're also suggesting that there's a possibility for the group to work on some kind of American tour.
Yeah, the American Roots Tour.
If they want to.
Yes, I will put my business cards here, and I can, if there's anybody interested enough to do something with, the unique part that we play in American history, because hey, their American history started here in this town. I think we should, there could be done something with that, making somebody a little bit richer. Even though money is not the most important thing, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I will put my business cards here and see if you need some more information or you'd like to help me on working on this. Be my guest.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah?
Nou, Eveline van Eveline.
Oh, yeah?
Kun jij daar zien?
We can take a selfie.
Yeah, we should take a selfie. So
Yeah, if you have a selfie stick.
Wat heel mooi dat dat gefilmd is.
yeah. That's a long since I met.